Stickers for Beam Me Up Scotty, but all right. This is a book about a guy named Ed who describes himself as a stupid, stinking drug addict and alcoholic. Hey. All right. So anyway, the setup is this. Ed gets sober and decides that sobriety is a bitch. And so he's going to take it out on the world. But he's trying to stay sober while his wife has left him, become a prostitute. His kids are crackheads. And he's having a rough time of it. So he's gone off to look for his buddy Kenny. Kenny's a photographer who apparently has taken pictures of Mrs. Ed. Mrs. Ed's a hooker. But anyway, so Ed's in a shooting gallery, and he's gone there to find Kenny. So goes in the next room. An old junkie squatted in the corner over a frying pan, wiping his withered butt with the cover of a yellowing post, a picture of Leonard Lump. Further into the gallery, past guys cooking dope in Budweiser quart bottle caps, guys with belts tied around bruised, puny, needle-tracked arms, guys and gals pumping veins and jabbing with the weeper. I found Kenny, stem in mouth, beamer in hand, used syringe and burnt spoon by his side. He looked bad, even worse than I'd seen myself in the mirror before I went into detox. Lips cracked, covered with sores, hands blistered and burnt from handling hot stems. He was thin and brittle looking, his copper skin tinged green, his brown eyes ghoulish, his shoulder-length dreadlocks sloppy and greasy, a camera slung round his neck. Crack is whack, I said. Yo, bro, crack-a-doodle-doo! His eyes focused. Scotty be dotty, liquor ain't quick, a whole lot of junkies born in Puerto Rico. Who's the girlfriend? He limply touched my drooling darling. Time to bust out of here, Ken. No way, Jose. This is my home sweet home away from home, homeboy. His eyes clouded over like glazed donuts. Show me those pictures you say are Michelle. Shit, Eddie T, maybe this crackerjack got it wrong. Could be that wasn't your lady. Either way, I want him. At the lab, didn't have the energy to do it myself. Kenny was nodding, head wobbling. He flicked his bick and sucked the devil's dick for a good 15 seconds, lovingly stroking the blackened glass tube with orange flame, the coke crackling. He held the smoke down, eyes bugging, then loudly exhaled a cloud like a steam engine at rest. He held his right thumb up. It was swollen. I got crack thumb, man, he said, getting on all fours and scoping the floor close up. Score, he cried happily, finding a white rock, putting it into the stem and beaming it. Yech, he spat. Fucking plaster. I plucked the hot stem from his fingers and threw the fucker hard across the room where it shattered. Dust to dust, I said, and pulled him to his feet. I want to stay. Can't always get what you want. You need fresh air. From behind me came the measured tone of the big guy. Man wants to stay, man stays. Free country and whatnot. I turned, letting Kenny fall with a thump. Mind your own fucking business, too tall. Say, Dudley do right? This is my business. The brother stay, he buy more douche, more rock, another stem and beamer, more works. Dr. K's a steady customer. Translation, dumb fuck? Do, re, mi. You read? This ain't no daycare center. He sure wasn't a pipsqueak. 6'6", 250. Business must be bad. You care so much about one motherfucker. No, my European brother. Business is beautiful. And so's your dog. Black. Beautiful black dog. Ugly-ass white boy. Bad match. Yo, I'll buy her from you. Natasha yanked at the rope. Too Tall whipped a wad of bills from his pocket. How much? 200? 300? I'm living large. Fine female like that worth big money. Put the green away, lard bucket. You can't buy love. He smiled, sunlight glinting off his special tooth and space-age shades. Put the money back and his paw came out for the second act with a little silver gun. How about we simplify things, he asked with a jewel-toothed grin. How about we let the lady in question decide? I dropped the rope. Natasha torpedoed across the room, vaulted at Too Tall's gun hand, getting wrist, sharp teeth locking hard and fast. He yelped, dropped the piece, staggered into the wall, smacked his head. The shades flew off and he went down like a big sack of onions. Natasha, landing cat-like on her feet, clamped on, blood on her lips. Too Tall screamed. My girl whined with pleasure, grinning, grinding, shaking, blood now pouring, bones crunching. She shook her head side to side, up and down, flinging the gold-ringed hand, gritting her powerful jaws, growling, grating bone, muscle, and tendon, slicing veins, shaking. Too Tall grabbed her collar and tried to pull her off, hit her tough, clubbing blows that might have been mosquito bites for all she noticed. Soon he tired, and as she shook and shook, blood gushing into a puddle. Their mutual moans took on an almost sexual tone, a harmony of her pleasure and his pain. Let go and let God, I said to Natasha, grabbing her collar. Kenny was having a vomit in his corner. I pulled hard, and that did it. Natasha came free. One problem, so did Too Tall's hand. Blood spurted from the jagged red stump. The big man shrieked, loud and long, high like a soprano. Natasha stood there panting, head cocked, staring at him curiously, the gold-ringed hand in her mouth, like a souvenir, dripping blood onto the floor. Junkies and crackerjacks crowded around. Kenny wiped his mouth and started snapping pictures. Too Tall moaned. His arm gushed. I sidestepped the thickening puddle, reached into his bomber jacket, and relieved him of his cash. You won't need this where you're going, I said, soft and doctor-like. There's no cover charge. Get an ambulance, he begged, shock coating his eyes, the red pool spreading. Holy shit, said Kenny, clicking away. You think you're ready to leave home now? I asked. The gallery customers cleared a path, and as we left, they descended on the big man like pigeons on breadcrumbs, stripping him of gold, crack, heroin, lighters, works, stems, sneakers, and jacket. I looked back. One enterprising fellow, wearing Too Tall's Mets cap and sunglasses, was carefully tapping at his gold tooth with a Budweiser quart bottle. These days, everyone's a dentist. All right. All right. A little bit more? One more. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, let's have a show of hands. Who wants seeing Ed vulnerable or Ed killing? Vulnerable? Killing. The lady wants to kill. All right. All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna save the two 400-pound Ukrainians for later, okay? Because that's a long one. All righty. You want to? All right. Got to tell you that Ed is an equal opportunity killer. He does whites, blacks, Hispanics, and enjoys just about all of them until the end. Okay. Ed finds his wife with the pimp. Uh-oh. That's not much fun, is it? So, Michelle was passed out, colored blue in the light of the tube and bleeding from her sex. I could see the spike holes in her arm. Robin Leach yammered about duck hunting in Scotland. Shit, Jed, you ain't got the balls to use that toy, he smirked. Tiffany come back to trust because you just can't get the job done with that gherkin pickle you call a Johnson. He swung his condom-covered wilting wiener. You don't got one of these. You fucking skank. She came to you for the drugs, I said, feeling the cold sickness washing over me as I looked at Michelle lying there comatose, blood pooling between her thighs. You want to play kitty games? I smiled. I have something you don't. What's that, homeboy? The disease, I said, firing the Glock, plugging him in both shoulders, one thigh, one wrist. Die slow, pimp motherfucker. He screamed, slid down the wall, making funny barnyard noises. Sweetheart, nap time's over, I said, kissing Michelle's chilled lips, watching the junkin-on pimp bleed, hearing him yelp and moan as Robin Leach, wearing a kilt, sipped ale in a Scottish pub. Get up, I yelled in her face. Nada. A used syringe, 2 torn and empty bags of dope, a charred spoon, a book of matches, and a belt. In the flickering light of the tube, I could see she really was blue, bright blue, and still bleeding. Get up, you crazy bitch, I slapped her cheeks. She wanted it, Jed. Trust rattled between moans, groans, and grunts. She wanted it dope. Did she? I sighted the Glock at his forehead. Yo, man, ain't my fault she a junkie. Call 911. Let me get this straight. I lowered the gun. It's not your fault. She's a junkie, crackerjack whore. We were having Chinese food, and a fortune cookie suggested a casual rape after you fixed it with a hot shot. I used the condom. Well, aren't you considerate? I said, going over and punting his kisser. Sorry, it's not a pump. You want drugs? He whimpered from his bloody mouth. Big piece of rock in the closet. It's yours, he rasped. Just don't let me bleed to death. That's precisely what I intend to do. I let go Natasha's rope, picked Michelle up, and walked her limp body around the room. Natasha dropped the lamb and started to lick Trust's bleeding thigh. Trust moaned and feebly tried to push her away. Robin Leach was now in England, visiting the Crown Jewels with I had to laugh. With stunning starlet, Sarah Syrup. I laid Michelle on the floor, put my lips to hers and blew air, paused, thumped her chest, blew again. Come on, honey, live, I whispered, and repeated the process. Trust let loose a scream that drowned out Robin Leach. Natasha? She turned to me, and in her grinning shark jaws, Trust pecker. Detached with love, I said, laughing and laughing as Trust screamed and screamed, grabbed his bleeding crotch. Natasha shook her head, flinging pimp blood all over the place. Let's get out of here, I said. Michelle was making little moaning sounds. I slapped her cheeks, put her jeans and shirt and sneakers on. Come on, Natasha, let's go. Please, call the paramedics, groaned Trust, holding his wounded groin. Drop it, Natasha. She shook her head side to side. I grabbed Larry Lamb and waved it. Her jaws relaxed and the dingus hit the carpet. Natasha picked her little pal up. Put it on ice, Jed, sputtered the pimp. Good idea, Arthur. I went to the kitchen, filled a large pot with ice and water, grabbed a pair of chopsticks from a half-eaten carton of Moo Goo Gai pan. I immersed Michelle's hands up to the wrist in the cold pot. She was breathing steadily now. I plucked Trust's dong up with the chopsticks. That's one blowjob you won't forget, I said, walking. And before I flushed, I spat. Bingo.